Hey kids, you're about to listen to a comedy podcast. That means that none of this is medical advice. If you need medical advice or medical care, please contact your doctor.
Welcome to the Jock Doc podcast featuring Dr. London Smith. Here at Jock Doc, there is nothing more important to us than creating quality content for our listeners to enjoy. Thank you for consuming our content. Introducing your host, Dr. London Smith.
Hello, and welcome to the Jock Doc podcast, where we discuss fitness and health, and how to incorporate our modern understanding of science and medicine into our daily lives, but without it being so boring. I'm your host, drlondonsmith.com. I would like to begin by apologizing to our listeners. We've received some feedback about the excessive amount of technical medical terms that I've been using, such as penicillamine and
content.
So I'll try to temper my terminology to a simpler one in the future. Here to help with that is our producer, Cameron.
Oh, hey, Dr. London. You actually kind of surprised me. I guess I got my days mixed up. I was in here early kind of recording my podcast.
Yeah, okay. Am I interrupting it? Because you were here early?
This isn't still because I didn't invite you on as a guest, right? Are you interrupting my recording because out of like a jealousy thing, or?
Well, it's not that. It's just like I have a lot to offer as a guest.
I don't think that that's true.
Okay.
This is a podcast on different animal sizes.
Yeah, no,
I asked you, is a bear bigger than a whale? And you said it depends. That's the wrong answer.
No. Okay, well, so you don't want a guest that'll stir up a little controversy, who will give a different opinion.
No, we want people thinking the same thing. Everyone's on the same page. It's not a debate show. It's listing animals and then deciding if one is larger than the other.
And you gave me a hard one.
Jaguar versus donkey.
Is this are you recording now? Is this?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a test.
Okay. Jaguar versus what?
Donkey.
So if they what are their names? Like,
just you not knowing is already going to be an issue for the podcast.
Okay.
It's Daniel the donkey.
Yeah, of course it's
and Jimmy
the
Jaguar.
Okay.
It's all alliteration. Every single animal's name is just.
You say just but like it's not easy alliteration. It's really.
Why do you want to be on the podcast so?
It's so popular. It's so popular. Like,
yeah, I know it's taking off. It's sort of taken the world by storm a little bit.
Yeah, you know how I found out about it. I saw it on the news.
Oh, you saw that segment? The segment on it was. They were like, this podcast is so big now. Breaking. This podcast has gotten so huge.
Yeah. No, like it was funny because like normally the news doesn't even go into it, but yeah, it was going so big on that, and I feel like I could at least help stir the pot a little bit, maybe change direction of it. I know that most of you guests have just agreed with you, just said yes whenever you say this one's bigger than this.
Yeah, just your desire, you saying, hey, your podcast is unbelievably successful. Bring me on and I'll change the direction of it. Do you think in your head, do you think that's appealing to me?
If you're a true artist creator. Yes.
I'm not. I am creating content. I create a podcast. I am not into art. I am turning sound bites into dollar bills.
It's just a science and a business for you. Which I guess that's part of, I think that you're sort of destroying the medium to some extent, because that's...
Oh, okay. So now that you can't be on my show, the show you wanted to be on seconds ago, I'm now destroying the medium. The jealousy is insane here. Unbelievable.
Yes, I'm like the amount of sponsors you have, like
zebra versus alligator.
And what do they do for like as hobbies, each of them?
Oh my gosh.
No, like these are real questions that people are going to ask. I know everyone's asking. I've seen the subreddits. People are asking what their domestic life is like.
But people aren't asking that question to figure out the size. They're just asking that because they're actually interested in what we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's debatable, but like, I know. Yeah, I'm just trying to think because there's so many sponsors on yours, and like you only have it's an hour long, and you only have 5 minutes of actually talking about it.
But I mean, what you're jealous of the amount of sponsors? Is that what you're kind of talking about?
Yeah, and they're not.
You think that this show? You think that this show that you host is going to be appropriate for the Fish Blast and Gill Blaster?
Nope.
The gun that you shoot fish with?
I mean, no, not the way that it's meant to be used.
You think that's appropriate for the Jock Doc podcast? Because that's very appropriate for my show. It fits in naturally. I can say, okay, a fish versus a gorilla, and then when the fish loses, I can shoot it with the sponsored Fish Blaster. If I say camel and poodle, can you at least give me something? Not a question. Give me a statement. I want a statement from you.
Oh no, not that's a question. If you how big is no. Okay, no, okay. I could be on there though. Like I could raise the real important questions.
Give me an important question.
If you were the friends with a camel, how would you be bigger?
No.
See?
Actually, yes, because I'd be on top of the camel. Then I would be bigger.
Did you hear the debate there? How that would improve it? I'm just saying.
It's just not a debate show. That's the thing. This show, it's very... I mean, our show is educational, too. I think that's maybe why you're extremely jealous. If I just made a show that's about like fantasy football, you wouldn't care, but it's that it's also educational.
It's really educational.
We are talking about how a zebra is bigger than a poodle. We are talking about how an alligator is bigger than a chicken.
Well, okay, and I guess I can see it now that you... Yeah, fine. You know what? Whatever. I don't even care. That was our producer, Cameron, whatever. Also with us is Digital in the House.
Content.
If you're a true artist creator, if you stir the pot a little bit, if you're a true artist creator.
I'm not. I am creating content. I am not into art. Creating content. I am not into art. I am into turning sound bites into dollar bills. Creating content.
Destroying the medium. Destroying art.
Content is destroying the art. Content is destroying the art.
Content
is destroying the art. Content is destroying the art.
Destroying the medium.
You're jealous of the amount of sponsors. Is that what you're going to talk about? The jealousy is insane here.
Destroying the medium.
Pinterest, Twitter, Instagram. Content.
Destroying the medium.
Pinterest, Twitter, Instagram.
It's destroying the art.
Thank you for
Consuming our content.
And later, we can expect a special guest. Is that right, Cameron?
Oh, sorry. The group chat for my animal sizing show. I kind of just told them that you don't even know if a zebra is bigger than a poodle.
What? No.
And then like my buddy Dever, he just said ask him if he knows which one's bigger, a little ant or like a big elephant.
So what's the punchline?
Oh my gosh, you don't know. You still don't know.
No, you're asking it the wrong way. You're
just
saying it the wrong way to make me.
Is an ant versus a big old elephant?
No, it depends.
Oh my gosh, you don't know. I'm putting this down in the chat.
Before we move on,
this is so funny.
Let's move. Let's address some listener feedback. Okay. As our marketing demographics have changed to a to a different consumer base than Cameron's podcast.
My podcast is all ages. It's for everyone, and everyone loves it. This podcast has a very specific target audience. And
Yeah, it's
what is it again, Dr. London?
yeah, yeah. Well, I'm reading off the printed page because you do print out a fresh one of these for every episode. It's 40 to 54 and 2/3 year olds.
Yes, that is our target demographic. If you are listening to this, you are within that age group, and we hope that this podcast appeals to every part of your old Gen X bones.
Yeah, and just want to emphasize because this other part's pretty important. You are illiterate, listener. You do not know how to read or write. So
let me check the analytics real quick.
Yeah.
Yep, Google Analytics confirms all of our listeners are illiterate.
Okay. So just that's for you to know in case you don't know the word for what you are. So this week's feedback comes in the form of, and this, remember from this age group, a snail shell. They sent in a snail shell. So I don't know, and I need to be serious right here. I don't know how you got this snail shell, but what worries me is that it was murder. Okay? Snails can't live without their shells. They die if their shells are ripped off them. So either this listener is confessing to a murder or they are reporting it. So
snail versus salamander.
Okay. And it's a race?
Just, oh my gosh, just continue on. Just continue on.
Oh, you meant the size thing. No, and because one might eat the...
No. See, if you were an actual listener, if you were a listener to the show and you were caught up in the mania of it, then me asking snail versus salamander, you wouldn't even need any sort of clarification. You'd be like, oh, you're talking about the pod. Animal sizing.
Whatever. So anyway, to this listener, thank you for listening. And hope that you didn't murder that snail. I think it's kind of serious, and I think that Cameron just tried to make it into a whole promotion for his own podcast instead of maybe focusing on the serious stuff that's happening. But whatever.
Hey, you're the one who keeps bringing up the podcast. You're the one who came in here and interrupted my record when you knew I had 35 seconds left, Dr. London.
Well, yeah, now for today's medical topic, then this is what people are here for. Kallman Syndrome. Kallman Syndrome is a condition that occurs due to a mutation in the KAL1 gene, or CAL1 gene. And this mutation causes decreased secretion of gonadotropin-releasing hormone, and that you could abbreviate to GnRH. It also causes anosmia, so the sense of smell is worsened or gone entirely. And in half the patients, it causes renal agenesis, so they may be missing a kidney. So
yeah, see, everything you're doing right now is absolutely perfect for this show and this audience.
Yeah, for our
people who love listening to like boring medical stuff and hearing you. What were you just saying? You were going. That is absolutely perfect for this audience and for this show.
So
definitely should not be extended to other podcasts that maybe have a different, more exciting energy.
Just as a guest.
But it's perfect for this.
I'm not asking to co-host. I want to just be clear. Just a guest spot.
If I brought you on as a guest, are you going to bring up the small intestine at least once?
Well, it depends on the animal.
If
they have like if it's an earthworm, then that probably wouldn't even come up.
I'm trying to encourage you. You are perfect for this show. It's awesome. I love it. Keep going.
Okay, so these patients with Kallman Syndrome, the decreased gonadotropin-releasing hormone means that less gonadotropins, like FSH and LH, are released because that less of that hormone. So this can make men unable to produce testosterone or sperm, and they can have erectile dysfunction and decreased muscle mass. Women will not be able to ovulate or menstruate normally and will become amenorrheic. Both sexes will have decreased libido and decreased axillary, pubic, and body hair. So patients with Kallman Syndrome will have those sexual hormone issues along with the aforementioned problems with sense of smell and possibility.
Sorry, I'm sort of just sitting here in awe
kidneys.
of, how perfect you are for the Jock Talk podcast. You're just so in the place that you're supposed to be.
Yes.
The way that you've taken these funny words.
You're mocking
like
me with this. This is
like pubic hair, and you said sperm. That's hilarious. On a comedy podcast, on a podcast that's fun and exciting like mine, when I heard the word sperm, me and whatever guest was on, we would have just died laughing for like 5 minutes. But you are such a professional and you are so perfect for the Jock Talk podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I get that the vibe is different. Like last week's guest was a fart machine on yours.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And
if you had said sperm in front of the fart machine, it would have gone.
Yeah, no, you don't have to. Yeah, I know. I follow him on Twitter. Like of course that's what he says. But
oh, is that what this is all about?
You
want to get on the podcast because you want to meet the fart machine?
No, that's not all it's about. But it's a celebrity, obviously, and like you want to. Primary treatment for Kallman Syndrome is to replace the testosterone. That's the biggest sort of factor.
Is that something you do?
No, I don't have this condition. I don't have Kallman Syndrome.
Oh, I thought you were just sort of describing your day.
Okay, let's move on from there. All right, Cameron, you said that we have a guest today. Is that right? And this isn't a guest from your podcast, is it? Are you mixing those around?
No, but I mean, a guest. I'm sure you'd be great on my podcast. You can come on any time.
Oh, thank you. I would love that. I'm so sorry. I actually didn't realize that this would be recorded.
Okay. Yeah. So Cameron,
Dr. London, are you telling patients to meet you here again?
It just saves time. Like, I'm rushing from the hospital, and it's just so much easier if they, like I'm having to go around, and I wanted to. It was 3:00, and I was like, well, I feel like being done now. You don't want to wait for the clock to run out until 5.
Oh,
my boss is breathing down my neck. Yeah.
And so then you run out.
Yeah, So I'm wondering about HIPAA stuff now. Like, am I allowed to?
I mean, I guess I should have known something was different when I entered a recording studio instead of a doctor's office. I just thought it was like new protocols or something. I feel partially responsible for this.
The headphones, the microphone. I mean, those. Some doctors utilize those, but not Dr. London usually, I don't think, unless are you still working on that web series?
Yeah.
You were filming a lot of your patients, you said, for a funny web series.
Yeah, and it is going to be really good. And
oh, you're still making it. Okay.
No, that one also made the news for other reasons, but no, this I could see why it'd be confusing here though, because along with the recording equipment, there are a lot of bloody surgical tools scattered around the room.
There are. Is this live? Is this going to be live? Can people?
Yeah, this is a live stream. Yes.
Okay. Then yes, I would rather not give my full name.
Okay.
That's okay.
Okay. Do you have maybe a fun nickname you could give?
Yeah. We'll call myself. I go by Carrie.
That's not your. Oh, sorry. This. I'm used to. I spend so much time trying to memorize a patient's name. This is really going to screw me up, honestly, in the charting. But
it's just such a private matter, and I didn't realize that we'd be live, and all these people would be listening to what I'm about to say. And
sure, okay.
I mean, I knew this was like a teaching hospital, but this isn't even a hospital.
Well, yeah, teaching hospital is. We did have to register this recording studio as a teaching hospital just for tax reasons, but it hasn't been a problem until today. But hello there, Carrie. We're gonna call you Carrie, even though. Anyway, so what brings you here today? You had an appointment?
I did, yeah. I mean, this is embarrassing, but I have been experiencing a slight amount of intestinal distress.
Okay.
It presents itself in several ways. The the most frequent of which is all right, this is just I have a little bit of stage fright. Um, I burp. I have burps.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, there's only about I think we have 65,000 live listeners. So, and compared to my podcast, that's like nothing. So there's really nothing to be nervous about.
I could see why the animal sizing podcast would have significantly more. That does sound like a very fun, entertaining subject matter.
Oh, it's taking over the world. I'm not allowed to say this, but I can say this on this podcast because no one listens to it. But I'm gonna be on The Masked Baker.
Yeah. Ugh.
I love that show.
Really?
Yeah. I'm going to be dressed up as like a giant penguin, and I'm going to be making penguin soup. I'm baking it as well. It's the first soup you bake.
The big twist on the show, you are also wearing, you're masking your eyes as well, which is what brings in the real challenge for that.
Yeah, there's no eye holes.
The knife fake, it's very dangerous. It's part of the thrill of watching the show.
Yeah. The amount of people who develop some pretty severe injuries.
And PTSD.
Yeah, I heard season 37 is the best season, so I'm very excited for you.
I'm really excited to get on and finally win that coupon. I'm just so excited to win that coupon.
Well, it's what, 5% off? 7 was it?
Yes, at every Best Buy west of the Mississippi.
Wow. Road trip. It's road trip. All right. Well, so I had a question. Yes. Are you a listener, Carrie? Do you listen to his podcast? I hate to jump away from your symptoms, but
the animal sizing podcast. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Huge fan.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I just
the elephant was bigger, by the way. I'm sorry. I'm a bit of a fan.
Okay. Well, this.
He's gonna get so mad at you. Do you listen to this show, or do you know Dr. London in real life? Like, are you a patient of his?
I mean, I'm a patient of Dr. London's. I had no idea he does this little podcast thing with you. This is so fun.
I guess this is little in comparison. If you want to do the size comparison, you might be tempted to say that the animal that is Cameron's animal sizing podcast is a little bit bigger than the Jock podcast.
But this podcast has way more episodes.
The Jock, is it specifically for athletes? That would make sense as to why it has such a small listenership, because it's like
there aren't any more athletes. Yeah, a lot of them die out.
Yeah.
So no, it's for everyone really. Currently, it's specifically for 40 to 53 and 40 to 54 and 2/3 year olds, illiterate. Anyway, so okay, you do listen to that podcast. Good to know. Didn't even know that I had one, even though like I wear the shirt and
I play along like you do with like Jeopardy, or I like shout out which animal I think is the bigger size. It's very exciting.
Oh wow. That's really the fun of it. Is it's sort of like, Doug loves movies or something like that. Like I get to, or wait, don't tell me. I get to play at home.
Yeah.
And,
very exciting.
And when I say I listen to it back because sometimes like I'll forget
which animal is
so
bigger.
much going on.
I'm like I'm playing the game. I'm playing the podcast over again. It's just so fun.
And my friends and my family, we all get together and we listen to it together. It's very fun.
I've been hearing a lot of people are doing these sort of listen parties. Like ever since, Game of Thrones went off air, it just, there's no collective thing that everyone meets once a week to really engage with until this podcast.
You know what I hate about the podcast? The ads. There's so many ads that pop up on I'm watching something else. I'm watching stuff on YouTube. And then I get an ad for your whatever show. It's like, oh, no animal sizes.
The movie theater. It's like a little window.
Yeah, it's even better.
No, it's I think I could add a lot of flavor to it, but anyways,
I thought you were going to complain about the pop-up ads in the podcast, because it does, whatever podcast app you use, there are a lot of pop-up ads that we've sort of programmed into the podcast, and I think that's innovative. No other podcast has been able to figure that out.
No, it's not. Okay. No, let's talk about your tum-tum. So
Oh, that's right. I was having so much fun. I completely forgot how sick I am.
Yeah.
It's because my podcast might be better medicinally than going to see someone like Dr. London.
But a few times I don't have my symptoms experienced. Yes.
Yeah. It is, people say laughter's the best medicine, but I think that my podcast is the best medicine.
Yeah.
There is a lot of laughter during your podcast.
I think they're unrelated. I think this is separate. I think laughter is very effective medicinally. My podcast is a separate thing, but yes, there is laughter. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't want to go on about it, but the clinical studies concerning your podcast have been really promising, and they are replacing a lot of current treatment plans that I which once again I thought like maybe I could be a part of it, have my name on some study, but whatever.
You can do that part of it behind the scenes in the lab. I know you're a celebrity doctor. You say my place is in front of the camera, not back in the surgery room.
Yeah,
that's what they call it, right?
Yeah, that's what they call it. So, Carrie, you're Herdy Tum Tum.
Herdy Tum Tum, yes.
Yeah, sorry, I just translated to medical, whatever. When did that start?
It's been going on for a few months now. And I just can't stop burping.
Okay.
Sometimes I swear it sounds like a demon leaving my body. Like a minute and a half extended burps.
So you're doing these burpees because like I've also had some stomach trouble whenever, because the burpees, just so the listeners know, burpees are whenever it's an exercise you can do. It's you jump in the air and then you go to the ground.
No, Dr. This is the athlete. This is the jock part of the podcast coming out of you, Dr. Lynn. I know that you typically focus on sports medicine, but in this case, she's actually talking about, how do I put it? Kind of like gassing out your mouth.
Yes.
Oh, a gas out.
Should I have come onto your podcast instead of the Jock Doc one? Am I at the wrong podcast to deal with this?
I mean, there's kind of a long waiting list to be on the podcast, whereas I think anyone can just sort of show up on this one, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just not an athlete, so I just wasn't sure if this was appropriate or not. I don't even know. Can I say I'm not an athlete? I don't know how much I'm
DJ
allowed
Dylan, can she say
information.
that she's not an athlete and still is her sound going to come through
yes.
the podcast? Okay. So your sound is going to come through even though you're not an athlete.
Okay, great.
So Dr. London, put your shirt back on and stop miming the burpees. Let's ignore the jock part of Jock Doc for a second.
What I was going to say is that, yeah, if I do a lot of burpees in a row, then sometimes I can also feel some distress because it's the abs tightening up and pushing against the intestinal tract.
I've never done that version of a burpee. I've done the
gas escape. Yes, the gas out.
I can do it for you if you'd like. I didn't know if that was inappropriate with the recording or not, but
DJ Dylan, is that inappropriate?
DJ Dylan, can she gas out on the microphone?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I think you're good.
Okay, yeah. He said it as long as it's a traditional gas out.
A traditional. I think it's traditional. I didn't know there was two types. But again, I'm not the doctor.
And before you make this belching noise, do you give us permission? Do you give DJ Dylan permission to remix it into a crazy song?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
If I give permission for that, do I give up all of my HIPAA rights or
yes.
just the sound of my gassing?
DJ Dylan?
DJ Dylan, is that?
He said if you're involved with him, your HIPAA rights don't exist, basically.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And it's not going to stop at just the HIPAA rights. But yes, so we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, you're already here. You might as well.
All right, let's hear it.
I'm so nervous.
Okay. Whoa!
That was a little bit.
Whoa. Is that
okay?
There wasn't like a sound effect.
I can go longer. I can go longer sometimes. Sorry. I have performance anxiety. We have that other thing you were talking about earlier.
No, the listeners are probably going to hear the nice remixed version.
Yes.
Okay, great. That's better. I feel like
But
that makes
that
it more
was,
anonymous too.
I mean, yeah, that was insane. Dr. London, is that normal? Do you come across this in your line of work?
I try not to. I can tell you that. These are not, some doctors have their favorite patients, and no, the ones who this is new.
It's fine because some patients have their favorite podcasts and they might not be the same as their doctors.
Oh wow, what a burn!
Wait,
Dr. London, you suck.
all of our favorite podcasts are the animal sizing one. So,
Oh, okay, as long as it's yours too, yeah.
yeah, I just want to be on it. I mean, you can't not like it. It's just I want to be on. So, okay, so you've had this problem for a while. Now I'm trying to think of, because I've heard this before. I want to say it was before medical school. I've heard a similar gas out in the past, and I'm trying to.
And I'm gonna be honest, I felt like I actually heard voices, like a voice or something in your
Sometimes it does.
burp. Am I crazy?
Sometimes it does sound like talking. Yes, I think
That's what I'm
that's
talking
just
about. Yeah.
acoustics of my mouth.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Oh,
it's
I mean,
like
it's-
this little hissing voice of like, kill them. But that's just, I got my tonsils removed, so I think it's
Mm.
Oh, the
changed the
airflow's
shape.
different.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So, I remember.
Is that normal, Dr. London?
I remember hearing something. I'm trying to remember because this is before my medical training, and I block out a lot of that part of my life. And from that time, I do remember hearing similar symptoms before. A lot of screaming. Whenever someone had a gas out. I'm trying to remember specifics. Because it was okay. There were we were in a forested area. I remember that. A lot of lines drawn on the ground. I think like maybe there's a big circle. Like Cameron, have you had any of these experiences?
I mean, not with me personally, but you've told me about it.
Yeah.
Just now.
It's weird
Okay.
because
So sort of.
you're describing an area very similar to where I live.
Okay. Yeah. So it's almost going to be therapy for me now because I don't, like I said, I blocked this out. As I recall, I was blindfolded, carried in. Have you been around a lot of chanting?
Oh, yes. Yeah, but I
Okay.
think you might, is that getting confused with your athlete stuff as well? Those are called
That's right. There is a
cheers.
lot of chanting. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
When it comes to when
Yeah.
you're doing burpees and stuff like that, you're usually going to have an audience kind
Yeah.
of
It's expensive.
saying fun things
yeah.
and rhymes and chanting. Yeah.
The
hiring
thing for
all
that
of them.
audience gets really
Yeah. Yeah. Well, just
Possible
because
to
every
do.
time I want to work out, that's how.
And you're in
um,
incredible shape, so you must do it constantly.
Thank you, and thank you, Cameron. See, I am in good shape. You kept saying it. It's a shape, all right.
Yeah. I was saying, yeah, it's a fun little shape. It's maybe like maybe a trapezoid.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure how insulting that was, but it's with the tone. It sounded like it was meant to be insulting.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you knew your shapes like I do, then you would be. I mean, you would turn off your camera, turn off the mic, go home, take a nap.
Yeah,
You'd be done for the day.
yeah. I don't want to talk about that, but your spin-off podcast, of course, the shapes. But okay.
Oh yeah, which shapes are bigger?
I didn't realize that was you. Also a huge fan of that one.
It is. It's a. Oh, you're a subscriber because that one actually that's a Patreon one, so it does cost a little bit of money.
Yeah. I spend around $50 a month on it.
Oh wow, you're on the lowest tier. I really recommend bumping
I
that
should
up
go
because
higher.
you're
I know.
We talk about a lot more complicated shapes for sure.
Just I have commitment issues.
The reason
Oh yeah.
that one, because I also subscribe. I have the $1,500 subscription. And
Oh wow. So
Yeah, tier
the
two.
second level 2.
yeah, and I get frustrated because, and I keep paying up, but I'm pretty frustrated because, shapes aren't inherently bigger or smaller.
I mean, I don't know what you're implying or saying. Which, can you give me an episode specific? Can you, episode number, maybe minute, timestamp, so I can find it and see where an error is?
Yeah, because these episodes are days long. But yeah, the one that I'm thinking of was, and I'm gonna be spitballing here, 285.
Okay.
Minute 3.
Oh, really early on. Okay.
Yeah. And the second is, I want to say 27.
Okay, let me flip to that real quick. Here, DJ Dylan, can you play it?
Yes.
Yeah, so obviously a rectangle's gonna be bigger than a circle.
That was a good clip.
Yeah, that was a good clip. What?
It's so weird because listening to that takes me right back to when I first heard it.
Oh, wow. And you remember where you were?
Yeah, I was on this drive to Wisconsin. Yeah, like it's so weird. Like almost, like I don't remember what the clip actually said. It was just taking me back. Anyway, all that to say, let's go back to this. I don't think that shapes would dictate size. I still stand by it, despite the evidence on the clip.
I mean, I can play it again. DJ Dylan, do you want to play the clip again? Yeah.
Would you?
Yes.
Yeah, so obviously a rectangle's gonna be bigger than a circle.
Have you tried playing the clip backwards?
Oh, that is interesting. DJ Dylan, can you flip the clip and play it backwards?
Yeah, turn it around.
Yes.
He's so good.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that sounds pretty wacky.
Yeah, that's, okay. Well, in any case, so, what I was talking about with the symptoms, right? So, I believe that there was a lot of chanting, whenever I last encountered this, and I'm trying to remember what the treatment was. I think, and this is, once again, this is before medical school, so this is not based on my training. I believe that the trick was to wake up days later clawing out of a shallow grave.
That's what you did to cure it?
Is that, do you think that would be covered by my HMO?
DJ Dylan, is it covered by her HMO?
Nope.
Okay.
I might have to make some calls. That sounds expensive.
Yeah, no, I don't remember, but I have to assume it was. Because like that many people involved, because like I said, a lot of chanting, and knowing how expensive chanting can be, it was pricey. So, I'm sorry we couldn't help you more here, honestly, but
don't know if I can afford that specialized treatment, you know?
I've got to tell you, we've already really gone way further in on diagnosing you here than we are contractually allowed to do. Because we are part of a larger corporation now. We are part of the Koala Cola podcast network.
But can we at least figure out what this voice is saying, or if that your just solution is just get buried alive, and then you don't have to deal with the voice burp anymore?
That feels more like a Band-Aid than like
an actual solution.
Finding the cause and fixing what's going on.
We need to figure out.
You know what? If you think you do it, Cameron. If you got it figured out, you do it.
Sure. I'm a natural podcast host, so I'm pretty sure I can host a doctor podcast.
I didn't say host.
I thought you were giving me the show. I thought that was the whole
just solve this problem.
No,
you're just trying to get every.
I thought you were just gonna leave. You were done. This was my show now. But you just want me to do.
So exciting.
Yeah, you want me to just do the one.
Do the one task. Yeah.
Okay.
Solve the problem that you said we should solve.
Well, I'm just asking. Like, what did the voice say? It was hard to hear earlier.
I mean, again, I don't think it's a voice, because that would be crazy.
That would be insane.
But it does kind of sound like my own name, as well as like some deep groaning, and every once in a while, like a little bit of like, I mean, this sounds so silly to say out loud, but it kind of sounds like it's saying burn the house down and kill everyone. That can't be right.
Oh, wow.
And if it's using your own name, it's violating HIPAA. So like that is, so maybe the way to fix this is to go ahead and renew your HIPAA certification. Because it clearly, some part of you doesn't remember that you're not supposed to share this information.
True.
Even with
And so
yourself,
all you have
you're
to-
not allowed to, keep that
Yeah.
stuff locked up.
Just never allowed to say my own actual name.
Not
yeah.
not in a way that you can hear it.
Yeah.
No, names are private. Sorry to jump back in, but I that seemed a clear solution.
It's doxing. If you say your name, you're doxing yourself.
Doxing yourself, yeah.
It's insane.
It's a huge problem.
That's why you never admit your birthday as well. You
don't confess to
all
even
of that
having
inside.
one.
Yeah.
You say maybe I
'Cause they
did,
can track
maybe I
you.
didn't.
People can assume. People can assume that I have one, but I would never say it.
That's still playing it pretty close. It sounds like you do need to renew your HIPAA certification.
Okay, so that is just the solution to her stomach issue.
Oh, fine, Cameron. Why don't you do it?
I'm just wondering if there is more to it. That's all.
No, if you think that my way is terrible, that you've got your own way, why don't you do it?
No, it just you.
I've been fixing it the way I know how.
No, it just I liked some of the ways you were talking about it earlier. These chants that were going on, these people who buried you. It was just as quickly as it was brought up, it was over, and then you had moved on. But I think maybe we could have explored a little bit of that.
I mean, it's just, with the privatized healthcare, I just don't think I could afford it. I don't even think it's an option for me.
And that is always going to be an issue.
I mean, I could start like a GoFundMe or something, but I don't have very many friends anymore for some reason. So I just don't know who would donate to cover these extreme medical costs.
You say any more? Did they go somewhere or your friends?
No.
Where are your friends? I guess. How did you lose your friends? It sounded like you
there
had
was a
friends and now
fire.
don't have friends.
Okay.
There's a lot of them in that.
Okay, that's normal.
Yeah.
That sounds normal.
I try not to talk about it. Again, HIPAA.
Okay, yeah. I don't want to. Yeah, and I don't want to violate by prying into these things. So I guess we'll just accept that your friends all died in a fire, and I have to assume I can't tell if it's related, but the voices that keep screaming whenever you gas out, that they keep saying, set things on fire.
I mean, people die in fires every day.
Oh yeah, it's most natural. Yeah, that's a natural. That's natural death. Yeah. So, I guess so Cameron, I see you eyeing me here. I'm finished. I think we've solved it.
Okay, no, that's fine. If that's what if you feel that
No,
is...
but you don't seem to feel that way. So you do it.
I guess I was just trying to be polite and get to know our guest a little bit more, and maybe wonder, are your friends the only people you know who have been caught in a burning house?
Some family members as well. Different fires. Obviously, that'd be crazy if they're all in one.
See, when we talk about what's polite, I thought she said, I don't want to talk about this. And what do? You talk right about it.
Family history is important when it comes to medicine, Dr. London. You have to know if this is a genetic thing or not.
Yeah, No, go ahead. Keep it up.
Do you have a strong history of people in my family dying in fires? Yes.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so there actually might not be a cure for that then.
Yeah, I was going to... Well, I don't want to say something again because I know it'll be a whole thing.
No, I'm done.
But, okay. Have you ever... Just one more question, and you don't have to answer this, Carrie. Have you ever kind of been in a mental kind of fog or something, and then you found yourself with a lit match and in front of the burning house or building?
Oh, constantly.
Okay.
I just assume that happens to everyone. You lose like 3 or 4 days at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what does that mean for the like medication or anything like that?
I mean, you gotta. Yeah, once again, it was all before med school. Whenever I learned this stuff, so it's just if I try to treat it, I'm going to be going outside of my my clinical.
I mean,
acumen.
can you recommend acid reducer? Maybe like a Prevacid?
Probably wouldn't hurt.
Maybe just like acid reflux. Like maybe I should just be taking some Zyrtec.
If you gas out these sort of demonic voices, then yeah, maybe it is just heartburn. It's
Eat less spicy foods.
Yeah, I wonder if that's the origin of the name heartburn.
But I think renewing your HIPAA information is probably important too.
That's the most important thing.
Though I don't think patients typically have to like do anything in terms of HIPAA, right? Or they're just protected by default. Am I supposed to be registering for HIPAA, or otherwise doctors are just selling my information?
I'm just going by what I know, and it sounds like HIPAA violations all over. That's the first thing I'm thinking, and I'm thinking, what do I do when that's happening? I need to go read a thing that says where I take a small quiz saying like I won't spill the beans on this patient.
Yeah.
So, I'm just going with what I know. But Cameron sure seems to think he knows all about it.
He's very knowledgeable.
Yeah, we talk about a lot of this stuff on my podcast.
Yeah,
medicine, health. We cover a lot of stuff like that.
A lot of stuff in the 5
It's not
minutes.
really a show for you, but you are perfect for this show, Dr. London.
Okay, you know what? Let's you know what I feel like doing? Let's do a chore. Can we?
Oh no.
Like
fine.
Yeah, because obviously we're not gonna get anywhere further with this.
Do you want me to explain what you're even talking about, Dr. London?
Yeah, normally my doctors don't have me work.
Yeah. Oh, this is not the show for you then.
Yeah, if you want to take the work option, because if you take the financing option, it's not going to be good. You're going to be in debt for a really long time. So the work is way easier.
Chores, will you validate my parking?
Good.
DJ Dylan?
Nope.
He said definitely not. Absolutely not.
No.
He said your car is already towed.
Oh gosh,
yeah.
So inconvenient.
And he did it. He was the one who towed it.
He did do it. Yeah. He just moved it to the other side of the parking lot, but that's his part of the lot.
It's a hobby of his.
So inconvenient.
He's practicing. He's getting a lot better at towing. So that's really helpful for him, and then ultimately for us whenever we.
But let me.
Yes, sorry.
Is Dylan allergic to fire? Just curious for like no reason.
DJ Dylan? He didn't do anything or say anything. He's just staring at us, so I don't know.
He gets that a lot, I think, and it's just.
Oh, did we piss him off?
Yeah.
Well, he's kind of pissed me off, so I feel like.
Yeah, let's not.
Don't say that.
Let's not say that. That's not okay. That's not. We just can't.
If you say the wrong thing about DJ Dylan, he will remix your words into the craziest sounding song you've ever heard in your entire life, and you don't want that.
Not pleased, but
just like
he's just such a good producer, or such a good DJ. So good. He does all the music, and he's so very, very good. Because if he gets his hands,
he will destroy. We've all been in similar situations, and it's just not. Let's do that with a chore wheel, huh?
Chore. Okay, fine. We'll do a chore.
The chore wheel. What are we even talking about? Dr. Lynn and I have unfortunately been neglecting all of our chores, everything on our to-do list, and so we made this fun chore wheel, and every week we spin it. And whatever chore it happens to land on, we have to do it, no matter what. Dr. London. That means that if it lands on pin the tail on the doctor, you have to do it.
Yeah. It's just like, socially it's gotten weird the more I've done it.
But just because the doctors you work with don't have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
They say, ow, that hurts. Why are you doing that?
They're bound to catch on soon, though, with enough of these chores.
Well, specifically about pinning a tail on them, I feel like they usually catch on pretty quickly.
Yeah, they still don't seem to get it, but enough times, 48th times the charm. Okay. Let's see. Carrie, would you mind giving the chore wheel a spin?
Sure, yeah, I can definitely do that. Yeah.
Oh no, of course it had to lean the last one.
Not this.
This is going to really mess up my podcast specifically, but we have to rename some of the animals.
Oh.
Let me explain what we're talking about. The mayor he's made a correct decision in that a lot of these animals are named pretty crazy things that don't even make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And someone needs to sort of shake things up and get more accurate names in there. And of course, the mayor is really lazy. He always assigns everything to us. And he's saying we have to do it. So we've got to come up with some replacement names for some of these animals.
Yeah.
Which means I'm going to have to go back and edit my old episodes so I'm not giving out misinformation and then I get banned.
Yeah. Banned into a Spotify deal. Yeah.
Oh man, if I got canceled and was given $100 million by Spotify, oh no.
Yeah.
I hate being canceled. So I mean, do any animals spring to mind just to start off that you're just like, that is not named the right thing?
Yeah.
For me, elephant doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I know we discussed that earlier, but it just like what is an Ella? Don't know what it is. What is a Fant? Don't know what that is. I think it's a phantom. Honestly, it does because it rhymes with and it sounds like phantom, which is scary.
I am scared.
And I don't like either of those things. If you called them big stomp monsters, they would be more accurate and people would like them more and they would probably stop ivory hunting. Just people will hate them less because they'll understand what they're getting.
That it's a monster. Yeah.
People really rag on these ivory hunters. But I mean, imagine you're out there and you're looking for this thing called an elephant and you're like, what does that mean? Elephant. So you're probably expecting like a pig or something. Who knows? Something small. And this huge creature surprises you. Yeah, you're going to shoot it with your gun and then take its tusks. Of course you are. It's self-defense at that point. So big old stampy monsters. I feel like that's a pretty good one. Dr. London, do you have got any? You think of anything?
Yeah. For me, it's spider monkeys. Which
part do you have an issue with?
The monkey thing, because like, I know what spiders are, and I get them. Spiders, creepy crawly. Everyone knows that. Monkey is like just such a foreign concept to me. If I'm being honest, I haven't. Whenever it was in preschool, whenever they showed the cards with the pictures and everything, I never really got the matchup of monkey and of monkey to a picture of a monkey. So for me,
you were texting and so you weren't paying attention in preschool.
Yeah, it's just one of the many who are. I'm just neurodivergent, and so I couldn't pay attention for that part. Yeah, I had a whole lot of undiagnosed ADHD at the time, so I couldn't pay attention for that reason as well. Oh, wow.
And so you just had to text all your friends.
Yeah,
instead of paying attention to school.
Yeah, and I was just a super outgoing introvert, or extroverted introvert.
Did I tell you I diagnosed myself with ADHD the other day?
Wow, congrats.
It was the craziest thing. I was trying to do really boring work that's not interesting. But instead, my mind wandered to like more interesting things that I like and would rather do. And I'm like, why does this keep happening? And then when I realized that I have adult ADHD.
I've heard that a lot, actually.
It's
an epidemic.
Things. And so
maybe even a pandemic.
Around tax season, the diagnoses go up really high. It's this time of year. There's a surge in ADHD diagnoses. Crazy.
I mean, it's honestly an epidemic. And I just want to say I support all our listeners who suffer with the same thing. Your mind has already probably raced to something else, and this is just background noise at this point because your ADHD can't let you focus. But we love you.
So neurodivergent.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So spider monkey, what do you want to call it? Like
just spider. Spider's easier.
Okay, spider's a lot easier. Do we want to do anything with spider?
Do you want
to call that
monkey? I don't know
monkey?
a way to make it more clear. Oh, sorry. You had me very confused.
Oh,
the other spider?
Yeah, the original spider, the OG.
Yeah. No, that one made sense. I don't know why you would change that. Don't fix what ain't broken.
They'll both be spiders.
Okay, so we'll just have two spiders.
They
just mean different things. And
be confusing for your podcast, Cameron, because then it becomes which one's bigger, a spider or spider?
Oh, damn. Yeah. And especially as an audio medium,
What?
you don't really have a way to
And
differentiate.
you
Dr.
never
Linden,
describe the
Are you doing
animals.
this specifically to ruin the animal sizing
Doctor?
podcast?
Dr. London, you're using the chore wheel as a weapon for evil. That is not allowed.
No, for one thing, yes, it is. Check the rule
If
book.
we
Check the
land
rule
on-
book.
If we land
Did you
on
don't? Is that
create
allowed?
a weapon for evil, then yes.
Yeah.
But we did not land on anything that had to do with an evil weapon.
No, but we are we're allowed to do it. It's just discouraged.
I'm calling it. It's Little Spider, and that's gonna be the spider monkey ones because they're so cute and they're so just like teeny tiny. And then we'll call big spiders because there's those really big spiders,
I've read about that.
and so those will be big spiders.
Okay.
That's official. That way, it's clear on my podcast. Yes, little spiders are bigger than big spiders. Obviously.
Whatever. No,
I mean, what else? What else? Do we have anything else? Any other?
Carrie, do you have any animals in mind that are incorrect?
I've never been a fan of the name horse.
Oh yeah. It
Doesn't
sounds
feel right.
Yeah, it sounds like kind of gross.
And too
Yeah, and it's
long
like-
of a name.
It's too long, and that
Way
S
too
sound reminds
long.
me of snakes.
Yeah.
And horses and snakes aren't at all the same.
Yeah.
No.
You're suggesting just trim it down to just call it a whore?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, that
I think that's probably the easiest thing to do. Yeah.
yeah, because I think about going out on the range, just ride that whore, and that's you get
It's
to
much
work.
cleaner that way. And everyone
Yeah.
will know immediately what you're talking about. You
Yeah.
say whore, and people picture immediately the long hair, the long legs, the strong stride,
Yeah.
riding on top of them.
Okay, do we have any other animal? If I'm being honest, I have a very long list, but for the purposes of this chore, it'll just be the next time.
Yeah, I mean, I would say just real quick, let's just get rid of the name clownfish. I think it's demeaning.
Okay.
Can that just be what fish is? That's just fish.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just fish. No, I was gonna say the
It
same
feels
thing.
like you're mocking it. Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
no, this is just
And it's
this
a
is the
noble
default
fish.
fish.
This is actually the normal kind.
This is the most normal fish. This is what fish are. Every other fish is a deviation from the
Yeah.
default, which is the
Every-
clownfish.
Yeah, every other fish is a clown comparatively.
Every other
There
fish
was like
sucks.
a Crayola
now.
crayon color of fish. It would be that fish.
Exactly.
Is
And
the
so
baseline fish.
If you run a restaurant that serves fish, just keep this in mind. This is the new fish now. You gotta deal with that. It's mostly clownfish. It's probably going to be more difficult food wise, just because it's a lot smaller quantity than you're used to working with. But those are the rules. So
Yeah, and yeah, what we do here does change a lot out there.
once I link to it from my podcast,
It will change everything. Yeah.
yeah, vocabulary is fluid, Dr. London.
Okay. So let's I guess let's destroy the chore. Carrie, would you mind gassing out in the direction of the chore wheel?
Yeah. Do you think that would work? I mean, it would be crazy if it just caught fire for no reason.
Yeah, just the little sample earlier made parts of me wilt as a person. So I imagine it will work.
Oh wow, it did catch on fire, but it was really fast, and then it's out. That's pretty good.
What
Yeah,
happened?
yeah, contained. Oh, this
Oh,
yes.
Oh, you were gassed
Uh,
out, so
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that finishes the chore. So I guess we're done here. So thank you so much to my patient Carrie for coming on the podcast. Hopefully your insurance covers this, but I do believe there will be a copay. All right. And do you have anything anything you're a fan of that you want to talk about, promote?
They're a huge fan of a show called Shitpost. You can find it on Twitter. It's, I believe, _shitpost. We'll be coming back in June or July. It's a great show on Twitch and live at the Pack Theater, I think.
Oh.
It's a late night talk show format based on the internet.
Oh, I've heard of internet. Okay.
Yeah, it's got a lot of internet things.
Okay. All right. Well, so thank you for that. Thank you to our producer Cameron. Thank you to Digital in the House. My name is Dr. LondonSmith.com, and this has been the Jock Doc Podcast.
See ya.